that'll be the first episode I've really ever watched from start to finish. We're going to talk actually about the Sheen roast here in a little bit, but I want to just another thing that just drives me crazy about the Emmys or these awards show in general is how surprised they act when they win. You're sitting there for the a 1 in 4 shot,
right?
1 in 5, and then they act like, oh my god, and they go crazy. You see someone win the lottery, they knock on the door. It's not that exciting. It's like 1 in 100 million. They have like a 1 in 4 chance. I've known about it for 3 months, and they just go crazy. They're crying. Their speeches. I didn't think I was going to win. You know, how can you not be prepared? You have a 1 in 4 chance.
When the guy won for Friday Night Lights last night, he was surprised, and it was genuine.
Why did he beat Steve Carell? Because other than that, I don't know why you'd be surprised.
Well, because he just was not expected to win at all.
Robbie, they're actors. I'm not buying that. What do you mean? Why aren't you suspecting? You showed up and you were nominated. Of course you were. Hey, listen, the only way to be remembered, because if you win Best Actress for The New Adventures of Old Christine, nobody's going to remember that, and no one cares. The only way that you can be remembered is to legitimately walk up and go, I have nothing to say. I thought John Smith was going to win, and walk off. Or pull a Ving Rhames and give your award to Jack Lemmon. Yeah, other than that, it's all BS.
Or Kanye West.
Just one observation here off of what Robbie was.
Is it about the driving in the Middle East?
Almost. I think what Robbie meant when he was talking about the guy was surprised. I don't watch that show, but I think some of these actors get surprised because some of these actors, like Hugh Laurie from House, they own the category for a couple of years, and those people, like that guy from Friday Night Lights, I think he was nominated a few times, and then he wins. I think he's kind of surprised. He's like, oh, well, you know, I think that's where the surprise is, genuinely.
I'm not saying that people don't show up and say, I don't believe I'm going to win. You know, Rob, you're nominated for Comic of the Year. You're up against Jim Gaffigan, Jerry Seinfeld, and Tom Myers. Those are the other candidates. Anyway, if you win, yes, you might have thought you weren't going to win. However, you prepare a speech, right?
I'm shocked if I win something that I'm not nominated for. That's when I'm shocked.
Yes.
When I'm sitting at home and they say, you won, and there's a knock on my door, there's a microphone, and I have to give a speech. That's what I'm really surprised. When I have a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 shot, I may not like my chances.
I want to keep an eye on the guy who Robbie said was surprised, because that guy's a great actor. I'm guessing that he is.
I know that guy. I know Friday Night Lights. I watched the first season. It's a really good show. I fell behind on it, but he is a good actor on that show.
Some studio ought to pick him up. He fooled Rob Robinson. You can fool anybody.
Now, there was one moment that I did see a clip on the internet today about when they did the best, I guess, actress and a female.
For comedy.
Female. Yeah, the sitcom. You know, when they just say, and the nominees are, they list the names. They just sit there and they clap and they show a shot of them in the audience. Well, Amy Poehler, is that her name?
Right.
Yes.
She walks up, which I thought was kind of funny.
Well, it would have been funny. I thought Amy Poehler was going to act like they had announced that she had won when they were just announcing her name. They were just announcing the people in the category. But then all the actresses went up, and it was this big love fest, and they all held hands, and I was like, that just,
So wait a minute. That was planned? Because if Amy Poehler went up like she won, that's hilarious.
It would have
However,
been.
if it was planned and they all went up and held hands, meaning if every single person after her just copied her joke, what they should have done was taken the envelope, ripped it up, and given it to Amy Poehler. That's what they should have done.
No, they did not copy our joke. It was clearly planned.
I'm so sorry. The winner was going to be, you know, so-and-so. However, based on this display, we will have to leave this category void for this season.
Well, the winner was the fat chick, Molly, whatever that show is.
Yeah.
And she's the girl on
the big fat chick.
Bridesmaids, which I just saw, Joe.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I agree with you. Bridesmaids was overrated.
Overrated. But what show is she on?
Mike and Molly.
I've never heard of that show.
It's the same people that produced the Sheen show, the 2.5 Men.
Do you think Mike Chamberlain has ever heard of the show?
Yes, of course he has. They gave
What do you mean, of course?
Of course he hasn't.
Is it on cable? Then he hasn't.
No, he's heard of it. They gave an award to a big, really big fat woman and a midget.
What midget?
Yeah, no, the midget. He's my favorite midget actor right now. He's
not better than the guy from Bad Santa. That's the best midget.
Peter Dinklage. He's in the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
All right, so midget won for what?
Best
supporting
actor in a TV show. And it's funny because Randolph Terrence is a comedian. I keep mentioning him. Mentioned him last week. He does this thing about, not really a joke, I don't know. He just talks about how Game of Thrones, there's no black people. It's not a historical piece. It's a made-up time period. But yet they still don't believe in black people. Yet they have a midget though.
They don't believe in black people.
It's not like Because a lot of times you see these like period pieces. Well, there wouldn't be a black person in it. But no, this isn't like this is a fantasy piece.
Right.
It's not like there's no historical.
So it's like outer space. It's like, why aren't there black people in Star Wars? But there is. There's Mace Windu. They had to.
Right. But I just like that there's no black people. But they did find a role for a midget.
That is funny that in Star Wars 1, there's no black people, but they go to the cantina and there's aliens and so forth. But then they said we better be PC, and they put Lando Calrissian or Billy D. Williams. We made it into the next one. You think that's why? I'll bet that's why. I bet people are like, you know what? We got to be more understanding to their plight. And boom, there's a black guy.
If you need a black guy, he's your man, Billy D. Williams.
Well, you're talking back in 1982. That would actually make sense.
Him or Carl Weathers was the choice.
Well, no, in all honesty, if you think about it, at the time, Billy D. Williams was probably the coolest black guy on the planet in 1982.
I'm submitting that he still is the coolest.
Well, no, because then when they decided to make a new Star Wars, they got Samuel L. Jackson, the current coolest black guy.
Right.
They always get the coolest black guy.
Okay, so you're saying the 70s, Billy D. Williams was the coolest black guy.
Right, late 70s, early 80s.
In the 80s, Eddie Murphy. Are we going to say that?
I mean, I wouldn't say he's the coolest.
For the 80s, Eddie Murphy wasn't the coolest black guy?
I don't.
No, he wasn't, because he didn't say King Cobra, cold malt like a satisfaction and a smooth taste.
What about the black guy that did the 7-Up commercials? Is he the coolest black guy?
Oh, that guy. No, he wasn't cool at all. You talking about the bald guy who did the laughing?
Yeah. What about the guy at the Love Boat? The bartender. Was he the coolest black guy?
Isaac.
Okay, Kenny. If you gave me 10 minutes, I could name 100 black guys cooler than Isaac the bartender. Now, that's not a segment,
okay.
but
You're telling me, okay, well, who's the coolest black guy right now today?
I mean, again, I think Samuel Jackson is.
No one thinks he's cool anymore.
Oh, come
What?
on.
We're tired of Samuel Jackson. He's a parody of himself. He just yells.
Is it Cuba Gooding Jr.?
I do not think it's cute. It's Cuba Gooding Sr.
Mayweather?
It's Floyd Mayweather. Larry Merchant does not agree.
That's a good question. It's not George Foreman. If you have a grill, you're not. You follow? If you're endorsing some
Right.
sort of kitchen product appliance,
You're not the coolest.
no, not even remotely.
We had Danny Glover. Someone on the chat said that.
And it's not Tiger Woods. He's one of the
Is
biggest nerds.
is Barack Obama the coolest black guy?
You know what? You might be right about that. Tim's going to be upset, but it's probably just for cool. Again, you know about the coolest guy in history, though? Is it Clint Eastwood? Is he the coolest guy ever? Paul Newman?
Paul Newman's the coolest guy ever. No.